Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One of the important things that all of us as sadhakas should understand is, specifically we should understand what are doubts, dangers of doubts, and how to destroy these doubts. This is something that all of us have to focus on. Very, very important. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making some important points. And this is very much in relation to doubts. Okay, so in subtle body, mind, intelligence, false ego. So doubting is a function of mind, intelligence, false ego. Intelligence. And this is what Kapil Dev is telling to Devahuti in Canto 3. Please repeat. Samshayotha viparyaso Nishchaya smritirevacha Swapa ityuchyate buddher Lakshanam vrittitaha prathak. First word is samshaya. Samshaya means doubt. And whose characteristic is this? Lakshanam. Whose Lakshanam? Buddhe Lakshanam. This characteristics of intelligence. So, doubting. So, is doubting good or bad? What do you say? Good. Bad. Actually, both. It depends on the context. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to 3:26:30, the same shloka that we recited now, doubt is one of the important functions of intelligence. Blind acceptance of something does not give evidence of intelligence. Therefore, the word samshaya is very important. In order to cultivate intelligence, one should be doubtful in the beginning. So, one should be doubtful in the beginning. One cannot accept things blindly. One should be doubtful in the beginning. But there is a clause that Prabhupada adds. But doubting is not very favorable when information is received from the proper source. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that doubting the words of the authority is the cause of destruction. So doubting is important, but in the beginning stage. And later, when we get a proper source from which we can get proper information, proper knowledge, then doubting will not work. Then such doubting will destroy one's advancement in Krishna consciousness. And this is what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 4, Shloka 40. He says, please repeat. Agyascha shraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. So Krishna is talking about three categories of people. First he says Agyah. What do you mean by Agyah? Foolish, ignorant, Agyah. Second, Ashraddadhanah, faithless. Samshayatma, the person full of doubts. So these are three categories that he speaks about. The ignorant, Agyah, Ashraddadhanah, the faithless, and Samshayatmanah, the doubters. See, the first category, Agyah, foolish. Prabhupada says, foolish like animals. Baldev Devbhushan Prabhu also says the same. Foolish like animals. So these people, they don't have faith. Or I should put it more precisely, They don't have knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of revealed scriptures, standard revealed scriptures. So faith is different altogether. Forget about faith. They don't have knowledge, they don't have information. First comes information, then we'll talk about to have faith on that information or no. These people don't have information. They don't have clue of what is given in standard revealed scriptures. It's almost like living animalistic life, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Done. Nothing more than that. They have no clue of what is given in standard revealed scriptures. Therefore, they are called as animals. They are like animals. Second category is ashraddha-dhanaha. Ashraddha-dhanaha means those who have knowledge of Shastra. They have information from Shastra. But seeing various mutual disagreements of various proponents in this world, there are different groups. They all are talking from Shastra. But when they keep arguing all the time, quarreling all the time, then he feels, wow, what's the point of trusting anyone? I don't trust any of them. So now look at this, what has happened? This person, he has knowledge, he has information from Shastra, but then he does not have faith on the words of the Shastra because of external circumstances. Srila Prabhupada says, they have knowledge and they can recite passages from the revealed scriptures, but they actually have no faith in these words. So first is the person does not have knowledge, ignorant, agya. Second, he has knowledge, information from Shastra, he is able to repeat, but he does not have faith on what he is speaking. He does not have faith on the words, what he is speaking. Therefore, when we have complete faith and conviction in the speech or in the content that we are speaking, then that content can penetrate the hearts of others. Otherwise, not possible. Not possible. It is like gun in the hand without bullet. That's the situation. So this is ashraddha-dhana, faithless. Third is samshayatmana, samshayatma. Now this samshayatma is a very important subject matter in our discussion. Although the samshayatma has faith, he has faith. He has faith in the revealed scriptures. So he has information, he has read it, he has heard, and he has faith. But there is one problem. He is swayed by the doubt. What is the doubt? I don't know whether this process will be effective in my case. So he has this doubt. Kya ye kaam karega? He has faith, so he is following. But then he has this doubt. Will this work? Will this process work for me? Srila Prabhupada writes, even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. See, there are people who say, मैं Bhagavad Gita पे श्रद्धा रखता हूँ, आस्था है मेरी Bhagavad Gita में. I believe, I have faith in Bhagavad Gita. But then when you talk about Krishna being Supreme Personality of Godhead, no, this I don't accept. This I don't accept. So this is doubt. This is the lowest form, very, very gross and very lowest, where you don't accept Supreme Lord who is speaking Bhagavad Gita. But you say you have faith in Bhagavad Gita. Doubters have faith. But nevertheless, they doubt that following Shastra will award the results, truly award the results. Will this really happen? So at times when we hear the glories of the holy name, that by chanting one holy name, all the sins will be vanquished. This will happen, that will happen. So at that time, sometimes sadhakas, they feel, really? Does this really happen? This is that category. There are people who believe in Bhagavad Gita, they're practicing bhakti. But then when we talk about attaining Krishna Prem, serving Krishna in his eternal pastimes, does that really, is it possible? Is it possible? There are some sadhakas who also have a question mark if there is some Golok. So this is really a very big problem. So they follow, but without full faith. They have faith, but not full faith. They don't have full hope and optimism. They just follow. So therefore, Krishna's statement is a very nice statement. Nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. See, agya, ignorant, they will at least get happiness in this world. Why? Because ignorance is bliss. They are ignorant, they don't know much, so at least material happiness they'll get. But for samshayatmaha, for these people who are doubtful all the time, they'll not get material happiness. And where is the question of attaining the next world? Because that they are not going to advance in bhakti. They are not going to advance on any transcendental path. Forget about only bhakti. Therefore, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, he says that such a person is destroyed. Means what? He deviates from his own interest. He deviates from the right goal, the right path. He deviates. Why he deviates? Because he's not sure. He's not sure if he'll be able to attain. And because of the doubt, that kida, the kida of doubt, that keeps biting him. And at one point, he just deviates. See, when someone has doubts, take a simple example. Say someone is traveling in the car. And then there are two ways. At one place, it bifurcates into two. Now, it takes one. There was no board. So he says, let's try going through this path. So he'll be always doubtful, did I take the right path? And he'll not be able to have a good speed. He'll be doubtful, did I take the right path? So he'll not be able to reach destination faster. As simple as that. So same is the situation. When we have started our journey on the spiritual path, and our goal is very clear, to attain Krishna's eternal service. But now when we have started on this path, and if we have doubts, then the pace will be very slow. We'll stop, then move, we'll pause, and then again move. Therefore, we find many sadhakas begin their journey, but then not everyone is fired up. Not everyone is fired up. And one of the important reasons of not being fired up is doubts. Doubts on the revealed scriptures. Doubts on the words of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Or I should put it as Guru, Sadhu and Shastras. Now when we say that he gets destroyed, one is obviously he deviates. Second understanding is, such a person will never have Rid Vishuddhi. His heart will never be cleansed of lust, anger, greed. Why? What is the understanding? See, who purifies the heart? Who purifies the heart? Krishna purifies the heart. So now, Krishna is Paramatma. He knows what doubts we have. So when we are doubtful of something that Lord has spoken, so He has to award purification. So since we have doubts, He will not award purification. Therefore, the heart is not purified. Rid Vishuddhi doesn't happen. Therefore, the Shraddha, this faith is very, very important on the path of bhakti. Very, very important. There are 4 aspects of bhakti that we have been discussing in different sessions. Shraddha is the first one, faith. Faith in the revealed scriptures. Second is pragya, the understanding. The understanding has to be clear of the subject matter. Third is priha. So what is our desire? What do I really want in life? What do I really want to attain? And fourth one is kriya. The activity or execution of the angas of bhakti. And that should be done properly to attain the goal. So these are the 4. Shraddha, pragya, spriha and kriya. These are the 4 as given in the Dashamula Tattva. Therefore, only when someone has proper shraddha, proper pragya and proper spriha with proper kriya, then he can attain the ultimate goal. Then he can advance in bhakti. Otherwise, even if one is defective, then it's a problem. So now you see the person who has doubts. What is the problem with him? Shraddha is the problem. Other 3 are okay. Say other 3 are okay. His pragya, basic understanding, say it is okay. And his spriha, he wants to attain Krishna's eternal service. And kriya, he is doing angas of bhakti. He is chanting 16 rounds. He is doing deity worship, etc. But then since his shraddha is not proper, therefore he will not be able to advance. So all the 4 have to be proper. Then he can advance. And it all begins with shraddha. So when there is doubt, then that can destroy the person. It deviates the person from the right path. His heart will not be purified. Therefore, he will not be able to advance. Therefore, Krishna is using the word, very heavy word, this is. Samshayatma vinashyati. Krishna is using the word vinashyati. He falls, he gets destroyed. This is the word that is used. Because for a sadhaka, on the transcendental path, on the path of transcendence, specifically we are talking about bhakti yoga, if he is not able to advance, if he is stagnant or he regresses, that's equivalent to destruction. And we have so many examples like that, where the person is doubting the revealed scriptures and he meets with destruction. One such example is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela, where Haridas Thakur has been invited to Raghunath Das Goswami's father's and uncle's place. Names of father and uncle? Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar. Balram Acharya, a great personality, was very attached to Haridas Thakur. He invited Haridas Thakur, please come. Please come to the assembly of all the Brahmanas and scholars, which is organized by the Majumdars, Hiranya and Govardhan. Please come. So Haridas Thakur agreed, and Balram Acharya took Haridas Thakur to that place. Now in that place, as soon as Haridas Thakur entered, everyone knew Haridas Thakur. Every day chanting 192 rounds, 3 lakh names. So everyone knew the glories of Haridas Thakur. And so all of them had Vaishnava background, so all of them stood up. Specifically, it is described, Govardhan and Hiranya, both of them stood up to receive Haridas Thakur. And then with great respect, he was given a place. So elevated place for him, the special place for him. For your information, both Hiranya and Govardhan were also greatly learned. And that assembly was of scholars, Brahmanas. And when Haridas Thakur sat, everyone started glorifying Haridas Thakur. His purity, his taste for chanting, his sadhana of 192 rounds and so on. Everyone started glorifying. Then since Haridas Thakur is sitting, Namacharya is sitting there. So discussion began on the holy name. So one person started saying something, other person started adding something. Keha bole nama haite, haya papakshay, keha bole nama haite, jivera moksha hai. So someone said, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is freed from reactions of all sins, all sinful life. Another one said, simply by chanting the holy name, the living entities are liberated from material bondage. The first one said that all the sinful reactions will be vanquished. Other person said that one can get liberated from material bondage. So at that time, Haridas Thakur spoke. See what Haridas Thakur is saying. Harirasa kahe na namera, ei dui fal nai, namera phale Krishna pade, prema upajay. He is saying, oh, these two, that is papakshay and mukti, these two are not actually the fruits of chanting the holy name, the result of chanting the holy name. What is the result of chanting the holy names? And specifically, Prabhupada translates this as chanting the holy name without offenses. What is the result? The result is awakens the ecstatic love for Krishna. That's the result. Krishna Prem is the result of offenseless chanting. Not these two, Papaksha and Mukti. Anusangika phala namera mukti papa nasha tahara drishtanta yache suryera prakasha. He said this Mukti and Papa Nasha, these are anusangik, byproducts of offenseless chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he is giving analogy to explain to the entire crowd. All scholars are present. So he says that he gives the example of sunrise. So full night it is pitch dark and sun rises. At times in the calendar we can find sunrise time. So look at the sunrise time and then you can see outside. You will not find the sun in the sky, but there is light. By the first few rays of the sun, the entire darkness is dissipated. Still the sun is not there in the sky. It is still rising. But then those few rays coming out from the sun, that destroys all the darkness. Therefore, Srila Haridas Thakur is saying, with the first glimpse of sunlight, fear of thieves, ghosts and demons immediately disappear. And when the sun is actually visible, everything is manifest and everyone begins performing his religious activities and regulative duties. He is saying, similarly, the first hint that offenseless chanting of Lord's holy name has awakened dissipates the reactions of sinful life immediately. And when one chants the holy name offenselessly, one awakens to service in ecstatic love at the lotus feet of Krishna. Liberation is the insignificant result derived from a glimpse of the awakening of offenseless chanting of the holy name. So he is saying these two are insignificant results. Papakshay or Papanasha and Mukti. These are the two Anusangik phal. These both are byproducts. So at that time, a person called Gopal Chakravarti, again a learned personality, and specifically here it is said that he had handsome bodily features, very good looking, very youthful, very learned. When he heard this, he couldn't tolerate. He couldn't tolerate that by the glimpse of awakening of Lord's holy name, one can attain liberation. He couldn't accept this. So at that time, he became very angry. Gopal Chakravarti became very angry. Kruddhaya bale say, Saroshava angry words. He's very angry and he's speaking. Bhav kera siddhanta shuna panditera gana. Look this bhauka, what he's saying. Look at the sentimentalist. Out of emotions, he's speaking some conclusions which are emotional. Look at him. And then he gives philosophy. Then he speaks philosophy. Koti janme brahma jnana, ei mukti nai, ei kahe nama bhase, sei mukti hai. He is saying that after many millions, upon millions of births, when one is complete in absolute knowledge, one still may not attain liberation. Yet this man is saying that simply by awakening of a glimpse of holy name, one can attain liberation. Look at him, what he is saying. Now Haridas Thakur, he has complete faith on Shastra. That is seen in his practice. So Haridas Thakur spoke and he said, Haridasa kahe na kene, kara samshay, Shastre kahe nama bhasa matre mukti hai. Why are you doubtful? Kene kara samshay? Why are you doubtful? Because revealed scripture, Shastra ko hai, revealed scriptures are saying. What are they saying? Nama bhasa matre mukti hai. Simply by the glimpse of offenseless chanting, Nama bhas, one can attain mukti. Bhakti sukha age mukti, ati tuchha hoy, ataeva bhakta gana mukti nahi loy. And for a devotee, he enjoys bliss of Krishna consciousness, devotional service. Therefore, mukti is tuchha. Liberation is very insignificant. Therefore, pure devotees never aspire for liberation. So in this way, already he is very angry, Gopal Chakravarti. He is saying that just by glimpse of holy name one can get liberation. Not possible. And here he is saying that anyways devotees don't aspire for liberation. They are not interested in liberation. And again he repeats, Nama Bhas is enough for getting mukti. Then Gopal Chakravarti, very angry, again he said, Vipra kahe nama bhase, jadi mukti noy, tabe tumhara naka kati karah nischay. If jadi nama bhas mukti noy, if nama bhas, if one does not get liberated by nama bhas, then you may be certain that I shall cut off your nose. This he is telling to Namacharya Haridas in the presence of Govardhan, Hiranya and all the other Pandits. So at that time, Haridas Thakur, very humble, Haridasa kahe na jadi namabhas mukti nai, tabe amar naka katimu eishu nischay. So Haridas Thakur is telling, if by namabhas liberation is not possible, tu kya mera naak katega? Main hi kaat lunga. I'll cut my nose myself. So now, the personalities present in the assembly, specifically Govardhan and Hiranya, who were the host, they became very angry. And they pushed Gopal Chakravarti out. And they removed him from the job also. Then what happened is within 3 days, he got leprosy. He was afflicted by leprosy. It is described that he was very handsome. He had a very handsome nose. First thing that happened was his nose melted. So he was supposed to cut the nose of Haridas Thakur, but the Lord, He did the needful. His nose melted. His beautiful fingers, which were like buds of flowers, all of that melted. And this personality, he withered away, gradually melted, suffered like anything. So here we see that doubt on the verdict of Shastra led to what? It led to a great offense. And with that offense, he was destroyed physically and also spiritually. He was destroyed. So in this way, doubt on the revealed scripture is very, very dangerous. And we see here, it went on to a great offense. He went on to commit great offense. To whom? A great Mahat, like Haridas Thakur. Even when it comes to Prabhupada's Leela, Malti Mataji, she narrates a pastime. This was 16th July 1969. So Malti Mataji said that Prabhupada was there in his room, and normally Prabhupada's door is closed, but that day the door was a little open. So she just pushed and she entered. And at that time, Prabhupada suddenly called her, Malti, come, sit. We are watching TV. You can also watch. We are going to see moon landing. People are going to land on the moon. Come, sit. We will see. And after watching that entire scene, then when the TV was switched off, at that time, Prabhupada said, they didn't go. This is an idiot box and it has made an idiot of us. They didn't go. So this 4 words, they didn't go, they did not go. These 4 words created a lot of controversy at that time. Amongst whom? Amongst disciples. There was one devotee or one sadhak, one disciple of Prabhupada, his name was Purushottam, personal secretary of Prabhupada, servant of Prabhupada. He left bhakti because of this. Yes, Prabhupada has full faith on scriptures. And based on scriptures, Prabhupada said, they have not gone to the moon. They're just idiot box. But then, Purushottam also had faith. It's not that he didn't have faith. Why was he serving Prabhupada if he didn't have faith? But he had a doubt. What my spiritual master, Paramhamsa spiritual master Prabhupada is saying, is it right? Doesn't look like. We are able to see. Pratyaksha Praman, we are able to see. Then how can we not believe on this? And he just left. So see what happened. Just because of doubt, samshayatma, just because of doubt, the person left the whole movement. Can you imagine the luxury of being the personal servant of Prabhupada? Massaging Prabhupada's body, taking care of Prabhupada's diet and so on and so forth. But that luxury he gave it up just because of one doubt. Because doubt has the power to destroy the person. Therefore, Krishna said, Vinashyati. The person will get destroyed because of doubt. And here we have examples. We have example of Gopal Chakravarti. And here we have example of Purushottam, who left Srila Prabhupada's service. So in this way, we understand that doubts are very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It can take the person to any extent. And there are 3 categories of people with different faiths, which are described by Prabhupada in the purport to 9 chapter, Shloka 3 of Bhagavad Gita. And that is taken from 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat the shloka, this is very nice. Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. So here it is said, those who are not faithful in what? In devotional service unto me, they cannot attain me. Krishna is saying, not possible. They cannot attain me. And therefore, Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. They have to come back on this path. Which path? The path of samsara, filled with janma and mrityu, birth and death. They have to come back. So in this way, Krishna is saying, if you don't have faith, then you cannot come to me. Not possible. You have to take birth in this material world again and again and again. So specifically, Prabhupada mentions elaborately in the purport 3 categories of people, sadhakas, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. So he talks about Uttam. And he says that they are the ones who have firm faith and they're expert in Vedic scriptures. Firm faith in the process, which are given in the revealed standard scriptures. And second is expert in explaining and convincing others about the subject matter given in scriptures. So he says, Prabhupada says that he is an Uttamadhikari. See, one point to note is, faith in Vedic scriptures is the foundation of Krishna consciousness. If there is no faith in Vedic scriptures, then there is no question of Krishna consciousness. Many times in various sessions, this question has been asked, that how to convince those people who don't have faith in scriptures. When we meet people on the street and they say, I don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, how to convince them? I always tell the preachers that don't waste your time behind such people. There's no point. See, there should be a common platform on which you can discuss something. Any discussion, there should be a common understanding. So when we sadhakas, when we want to discuss something with someone, so at that time the common platform is Shastra. So if that Shastra itself is not believed, then where is the question of discussing anything? Therefore, we should be a little intelligent to save our time and not waste our time just like that on those people who outrightly say that I don't believe in Shastra. Obviously, they're unfortunate. Only thing that we can do is pray for them, invite them to the temple for some festival, offer them some prasad. And maybe by Lord's mercy, someday, some lifetime, they'll get faith in Shastra. Then they're eligible to discuss subject matters from Vedic scriptures and clarify if they have some doubts. So firm faith in the Vedic scripture is very important. Now, when we say firm faith, Adav Shraddha, it means unbreakable faith, unflinching faith. Means, come what may, the person's Shraddha, his faith will not break in the subject matter given in scriptures. Kuch bhi ho jaye. Because in this world, we see the faith is circumstantial for many people. So they have faith, and when life is going normal, they might tell dialogues also that everything is happening by Lord's mercy and this and that or whatever. As soon as they undergo as soon as they start going through some crisis, rough patch in life, immediately that faith disappears. Immediately. Then the same words of Shastra, which were those were bliss giving, now they make no sense for that person. Why? Because their faith is circumstantial. So there should be unbreakable faith in scriptures. That is the first step towards prema. First step. Therefore, again and again it is described that Shraddha, this stage of Shraddha, the person qualifies the stage of Shraddha only when he has unbreakable faith in Vedic scriptures. So this first class, Uttamadhikari, first class person, he has that firm faith, unbreakable faith in Vedic scriptures, and he's very expert in convincing others. Very expert in convincing others because he has imbibed that. He has imbibed the essence of Vedic scriptures. And when he's supposed to explain, it's very easy for him to explain. And he's able to convince others. You see how Prabhupada used to do. Prabhupada, genius. He knew which point to make when to convince the other person. He knew very well. Expert. This is Uttamadhikari. And such a person, he never loses any argument. He knows how to put everything properly together and present it strongly. He knows very well. And such a person will never fall. He'll never fall. And such a person will surely make progress and attain the ultimate goal. So in this way, this is the first class person, first class sadhaka or Uttamadhikari who has no doubts. He has firm faith and is expert in explaining Shastra. Now second class or Madhyamadhikari, he has firm faith. He also has firm faith. Unbreakable faith is there. But he is not expert in explaining Shastra. But Prabhupada says, they automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course. And so in good faith have taken it up. They have this firm faith. Krishna Bhakti is good. Krishna Bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. They have this firm faith. But then when they start explaining it to others and say there's argument from the other side, and now they're trying to argue from their side. So there are possibilities where the person will lose the argument. But when he loses the argument, so at that time his faith is not shaken. His faith does not shake. He has full faith. So he's second class person. Second class sadhaka. Now third class sadhaka, he also has faith. But his faith is not strong like second and first class person. His faith is not strong. So these are the personalities who neither have perfect knowledge nor good faith. Both are missing. So they don't have good faith. Unflinching, unbreakable faith. And also at the same time, no knowledge from Shastra, so there's no expertise in explaining Shastra. Prabhupada writes, he has faith in the conviction that devotional service is very good. He has not yet gained adequate knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class persons in Krishna consciousness have some tendency towards Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class person in Krishna consciousness. So some contamination is there, and by the association of devotees, when that is removed, then yes, they can also come to second class or first class category. Specifically, Prabhupada is saying, even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. So this is the point. So these are the third class category or the Kanishta Adhikaris. So they have faith that Krishna Bhakti is good. So based on that faith, they have taken up to Bhakti. But since they don't have that complete faith, they will be doubtful. Therefore, what happens is they cannot achieve the ultimate success. And what does that mean? They will slip, they will fall at some point. And Prabhupada gives example in the purport. He says, we have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive. And as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. So they have some faith, they come to Bhakti, they start practicing Bhakti, they get whatever they want, and they leave after that. So this is one example which Prabhupada is giving. And we can have so many examples where a person with little faith, he comes, he starts practicing, and due to whatever reasons. One can be he had some ulterior motive, he got that, so he left. Another, when he observes other sadhakas, when he has some bad experience, he leaves. When he sees some sadhaka undergoing bad experience, he leaves. So his faith is not steady. His faith is not firm. His faith is not strong. It gets affected. And what to talk about such people going and preaching? Therefore, always I tell all the newcomers, specifically participants in the Gita course or any other course, that don't preach. You're not ready. Don't preach. But who will hear our words? They will go preach. And on the other side, there are so many arguments. So now what happens is, the second class or Madhyam Adhikari, when he would argue and when his arguments are defeated, so his faith is not affected. But for a Kanishta Adhikari, the third class person, when he argues and when he is defeated, so at that time his faith gets affected. So at that time he comes crying, Prabhu ji, aise bol diya, mera faith hil gaya, abhi main kya karu? There are many people who come like this. So they are the ones who get confused. Completely confused. वो तो ऐसे बोल रहे थे, तो हाँ तो ऐसे बोल दिया. And they are the ones who will come to Guru to get it clarified, if they are fortunate. And if they are unfortunate, they'll have firm faith and whatever nonsense they have heard and they'll leave bhakti. So this is third class category. Therefore, nowadays you see this social media that has created such a havoc. Because Kanishta Adhikaris, only when they get proper association, then they can advance. So now, say he's on a proper path and he comes across or he takes the association of some personality on social media he watches some videos or whatever. So when his faith gets affected, then tell me how will he progress on the path of bhakti? So one has to be very, very careful. The Kanishta Adhikaris have to be very, very careful, because the doubts which are planted once will be very difficult to remove. I personally know some of the sadhakas, some devotees. I should put it as some newcomers. Very nice, very sincere. But then, unfortunately, what happened is they watched some videos speaking, those videos which were speaking ill about ISKCON and speaking ill about bhakti, the process itself, on the ill about Hare Krishna Mahamantra, speaking ill about the purports of Srila Prabhupada given in Bhagavad Gita, that these purports are not proper, these are all manipulative purports and so on and so forth. Left. They don't sustain. Because at that level, when the person's faith is not proper, and second, he does not know Shastra. So if you know Shastra, then at least you can contemplate and you can try to answer it yourself. But you don't know Shastra and you don't have faith, and when you come across all this, the person is destroyed, done for this lifetime. He'll never take to a bona fide path. And the worst part is, when he keeps faith on such nonsensical things which he has heard, you know what he will do? He'll commit offense. He'll commit offense onto the bona fide path and the bona fide personalities on the bona fide path. Very unfortunate situation. Very unfortunate. Therefore, these are the people who will unfortunately get destroyed, because doubts will kill them. In various ways, doubts will kill them. In Madhurya Kandamani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he talks about Shraddha. He says, the pilgrim undertaking a journey on the path of devotion must have faith, Shraddha. Faith synonymous with firm conviction. What is that firm conviction? Firm conviction to act on the words and the instructions of devotional scriptures. So as soon as we use this word faith, Shraddha, it's not that we should have any other thought. Only one thought. Faith means firm conviction on scriptures. Standard revealed scriptures. This has to be very clear. That is faith. And he says there are two types of faith. One is called as Swabhaviki. Swabhaviki Shraddha. And second is Balotpadiki Shraddha. Balotpadika Shraddha. So Swabhaviki Shraddha means natural faith. So you'll see some people, they have natural strong faith. They have not read Shastra, but they have natural strong faith. Where did it come from? Natural strong faith for those people? Past life. Yes. From the past life. Second is Balotpadiki or Balotpadika Shraddha, inspired by external force. So the person did not have faith, but then he was inspired by the external entity, external force. So many people belong to this category, where they attended some discourse, their questions were answered, they got convinced, and they take to the path of bhakti. So Swabhaviki and Balotpadika Shraddha. Faith gives birth to the desire to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master and to learn from him the proper rules and etiquettes of devotional science. Sincerely following the spiritual master's instructions bestows upon a disciple the good fortune of wanting to associate with an elevated saint experienced and absorbed in the same devotional mood as the disciple himself. At this point begins the stage of Bhajana Kriya, the platform of serious devotional activities. So, Shraddha, it leads to Sadhu Sangha, and with that, pure Shraddha, pure Sadhu Sangha, he can begin pure Bhajana Kriya. If Shraddha only is not proper, if it is contaminated with doubts, then there is no question of going forward to Sadhu Sangha and there is no question of Bhajana Kriya. Pure Bhajana Kriya. Then it's a problem. Therefore, when it comes to most of the sadhakas, they belong to the second category, Balotpadika, inspired by external force. So how should they cultivate, or how should such sadhakas cultivate faith and destroy the doubts? Because without destroying doubts, one cannot advance in bhakti. So how should they do that? And Srila Prabhupada gives the solution. So here is a letter to Satyabhama. This is dated 28th February 1972, Mayapur. So Prabhupada is saying, you are experiencing some doubts that you cannot believe that the Krishna from the Krishna book can be Supreme Personality of Godhead. That it must be like some fairy tale. To clear up these things, the best remedy that Prabhupada is giving. Best remedy is to discuss amongst yourselves, all members, regularly, all our books and classes. Then these doubts will be killed. This is the first point that Prabhupada is making. What is that? Discuss, study, and Prabhupada is very clear, our books. So Prabhupada has given us books, we need to discuss and we need to study. This is the remedy. And he is very clear. See, he is so firm about this. Then these doubts will be killed. Without reading books, it becomes hackneyed and such obnoxious ideas trouble us. See, first and foremost is the ignorance that we are always covered with, the avidya, that will always create a problem. So more we read Shastra, at least that information will help us to overcome basic doubts. Many times when basic information is only not there, how will basic doubts go away? At least basic information will be there. So we should read Shastra, very important. Read Prabhupada books. Our thoughts are always changing. That is the nature of the mind. So you cannot expect that even the great saintly persons are free from thoughts coming and going. But after thinking, there is feeling and willing. Willing being the stage of putting the thoughts into action. So if we are able to employ our intelligence, then we kill the thoughts before they become manifest in activity. But because we are so much inclined to enjoy something unintelligently, we have to therefore daily sharpen our intelligence faculty by reading and discussing and preaching to others. So very important point that Prabhupada is making, that even for great personalities, there will be problem when it comes to thought process. Something will keep coming and going. So if we really want to cut down or destroy the doubts, then we have to sharpen the intelligence. This is the strong solution that Prabhupada is giving, the strong remedy. So Prabhupada is saying that 3 things you do. You read, you discuss, and you preach. And actually it's very powerful, very, very powerful. When we read, we'll have some understanding from Shastra. When you discuss, the same understanding enhances. And when you preach, this is my personal observation and personal experience, that when we preach, the same understanding enhances more. Because you have to speak, now the other person will ask question, you will answer. And while speaking and while answering the question, our understanding will go on enhancing. Therefore, read, discuss, preach. This is the remedy that Prabhupada has given. In this way, we are able to very easily defeat all challengers to our philosophy, and everything becomes very clear as it is revealed from different angles of vision. Krishna makes promise to one who is striving to serve him sincerely that he will give such a devotee the intelligence by which he may come to him. Therefore, we should always pray that Krishna may kindly provide me the intelligence to kill all demons of doubt. And because he understands the heart of a sincere devotee, immediately he gives assistance. So this is the next remedy that Prabhupada is giving. Pray to Krishna. Pray to Krishna. He can destroy our doubts. For my part, for example, I am absolutely certain that anyone who challenges me, I can defeat you. Prabhupada is saying. Why is that? Because Krishna gives me the intelligence. This is the glory of a pure devotee. He is saying that no one can defeat me. Why? Because Krishna is giving me intelligence. So the first remedy that Prabhupada is giving is read, discuss, and preach. The subject matter given in his books. In one of the lecture, Prabhupada is saying, Chindyante sarva samshayah. By following Bhagavad Dharma or studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, which presents the ultimate knowledge of everything, one can become completely doubtless. One can be sure that God is a person, that he is sentient, that he is the supreme director, the supreme knower, the supreme physicist, the supreme chemist, everything supreme. So, first is this, read, discuss, preach. Second thing that Prabhupada mentions in one of the class. What about the third class devotee? What is the hope for him? Prabhupada says, if he sticks to devotional service according to the rules and regulations, he will gradually acquire knowledge of Krishna and become detached from material attraction. Everything will come. And Prabhupada quotes, please repeat. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janyatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam cha yad ahitukam. So here, very nicely it is said, by rendering devotional service onto the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment. Jnana and Vairagya. From the world. Prayojita means just begun. The Kanishta Adhikari must stick to the principles of devotional service and gradually everything will be revealed. So this is the second remedy that all of us can note. Stick to the process. Even if you have doubts, stick to the process. One practical tip from my side, especially when we, as sadhakas, when we read Shastra. So when we are reading scriptures, in the first go we might not understand everything. But we should continue reading. It's not that we should just get stuck at one point and just keep breaking our head on that. Just continue reading. Continue rendering devotional service. It's not that only after these questions are answered, then I'll become serious in bhakti. No. If that is the case, then samshayatma vinashyati. We have doubts, no problem. There is no problem in doubts. But there's a problem in pausing the process of Krishna consciousness. So don't pause the sadhana. Continue practicing bhakti. Now, the magic that takes place is when we start practicing bhakti and continue practicing bhakti, the power of bhakti is it attracts the mercy of Krishna. And only Krishna can destroy doubts. Therefore, when we continue practicing bhakti, by the mercy of Krishna, these doubts will be removed. All of us can see this in our day-to-day life in sadhana bhakti. Say, whatever we are studying today, we might not be able to understand it thoroughly, grasp it thoroughly. But after 10 years, the same thing, if you are able to read, if you come across the same thing, you start reading, you will have much more clarity. Forget about after 10 years. After a few months, you start reading the same thing. There's a different level of clarity. Because that sadhaka who has rendered good amount of service, by the mercy of Krishna, that subject matter becomes much more clearer than before. Therefore, it is said that in the initial stages of Krishna consciousness, slog for the mission. Don't get stuck into some things which might not be very important at that time. Like, for example, I'll not do anything, I'll just sit and chant. That's very nice, appreciate it. But then initially you should slog for the mission. That will bring in taste. Some are like, I'll just sit and read Shastra. I don't want to do anything else apart from this. I'll not get into these missionary activities of distributing books and preaching to new people and all that. In fact, in one place Prabhupada says, that person who does not speak to materialists on day-to-day basis will leave bhakti. Prabhupada says. Now obviously, speak to the materialists, Prabhupada is pointing to preaching to them, not sharing our heart, preaching to them. So therefore, we have to slog for the mission. When we work hard for the mission, this is what will take place. Mercy will flow and all the doubts will be removed. So therefore, now if doubts are there, no problem. Stick to the process. Do your sadhana, do your seva properly. Rest, other things will be revealed with time. So this is the second remedy that all of us can note. Third remedy is associating with devotees who have strong faith. This is a very, very important remedy. Just by associating with them and observing them, how they are leading their life even in great traumatic situations. Just by looking at them, talking with them, there will be this transfer of faith that will take place. Even our faith will become very, very strong by associating with those who have strong faith. Association is very, very important in sadhana bhakti. Very, very important. If our association is strong, then naturally we will also be practicing strong, firm devotional service. Or I should put it as bhakti with firm faith. We'll be able to do this very easily. So association is very, very important. So this is the third thing that all of us can note, that associate with devotees having strong faith. Fourth, as Prabhupada mentioned, is pray to Krishna. If you have some doubt, if you're not able to get rid of that doubt, pray to Krishna. Well, I'm remembering one point from association. One of my brahmachari friend was sharing this. So he had some very difficult doubts. He had doubts on Jiva fall down. He had doubts on some subject matters given in Prabhupada's purports. So what happened is he went to his spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He went to his spiritual master. And he was about to ask something, if I'm not wrong. He was about to ask something, and Maharaj chastised him nicely, left, right, center. So there was no answer given to the question that he had, but he was nicely chastised for something. And he came out of the room, and all his doubts were gone. Just by that merciful chastisement. So the mercy of Mahat, mercy of great souls, association of great souls in whatever way helps. Because the association of such devotees attract the mercy of Krishna. Because Krishna is always looking at them. So when we come in touch with them, we also receive that mercy. Therefore, association is very, very important. And yes, the doubts, the demon of doubts can be killed by Krishna. Krishna kills the demons of doubts, the demon of doubts. Krishna kills. Therefore, when we pray to Krishna, Krishna can do that. Tesham evanu kampartham aham agyana jamtamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvatah. This darkness that is there in the heart in the form of doubts, Krishna can remove it just like that by lighting the lamp of knowledge. He can do that. Therefore, praying to Krishna is very, very important. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, shloka 1. Sanjay is saying this. Please repeat. Sanjay uvacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. So here, Prabhupada says, the word Madhusudana is very significant. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And now, Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in discharge of his duty. So who can kill our doubts? Madhusudan can kill our doubts. Therefore, praying to Madhusudan, praying to Krishna is very important when we are stuck with some doubt in Krishna consciousness. So these are the 4 major remedies that all of us can note, contemplate and try to implement. First one is read, discuss and preach Shastra. This is the first one. Everyone has to do this on day-to-day basis. Second, stick to the process. Even if there is something that's troubling you too much, no problem. Stick to the process. Continue. With time, things will get sorted. Third, associate with those devotees having faith. So one is physical association. Second is association through books. When you read the life sketch of great devotees, just by reading about them, so many doubts gets cleared. So much of inspiration a sadhaka can get. If associate with great devotees, associate with those who have faith, who are better than us, associate with them. And fourth is pray to Krishna. This is the ultimate one. Pray to Krishna. Krishna will kill the demon of doubts. See, while practicing bhakti, all these remedies we can apply, but at the same time, we should take care of certain things. If we are not Uttam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, if we are still in the platform of Kanishtha, no problem. There is no sin of being a Kanishtha. There is no problem. But some things that we should take care. Like for example, we should not commit offenses. We should take care of that. Offenses have the power to cloud our understanding and degrade us, destroy us. So we should be very careful in not to commit offenses. Second is, don't skip Srila Prabhupada. Without reading Srila Prabhupada's books, without understanding what Prabhupada wants to convey, or Prabhupada wants to instruct us through his teachings, directly jumping to the previous Acharya purports, specifically like Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, etc., that will be a great destruction. At least I have come across a couple of sadhakas who have not read Prabhupada's books properly, who don't have faith in Prabhupada's purports, and they are jumping to Rupa Goswami's literature, Jiva Goswami's literature, and they're out of ISKCON. They're out of ISKCON. They're out of bhakti. Can you imagine reading previous Acharya's books and going out of bhakti? It's not that their books are not potent, but the person is so offensive. The person is not having faith in the current Acharya, then how he'll be able to progress? At least study first all the Prabhupada's books, understand what Prabhupada wants to tell, and then we can... Prabhupada himself saying read previous Acharya's books. So after that read previous Acharya's books. Who is stopping? Next thing that we should be very careful of, we should avoid is, don't hear outside ISKCON. We really want to hear something, hear within ISKCON. We have so many wonderful devotees. We have so many scholars. Hear from them. Hear from those devotees who have good standing in our organization. Why hear from outside? Unfortunately, we find so many sadhakas in ISKCON hearing so many different people. So many speakers from Vrindavan, so many other speakers from other sampradaya. What's the need? What's the need? Is there any dearth of speakers in our organization? Only thing that will take place is unnecessary complexities will get added in our complex life of sadhana bhakti. More doubts will be planted. Why? Why to get into these things? And never ever we should associate with those who are from other sampradayas, bona fide sampradayas, and those who are following upper sampradaya also. Both are dangerous because both have the power to plant doubts in us. So we should be very careful. Upper sampradaya is obviously dangerous, but even the philosophy of other sampradayas, only when it is described the sequence of reading books and hearing, say if you want to hear also. First we have to read Prabhupada's books in toto, then Saraswati Thakur, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti, then the 6 Goswamis, then the Acharyas of the 4 Sampradaya, like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, etc. Now, at the initial stage when we are struggling with Prabhupada's books, to understand Prabhupada's books, and we hear other Sampradaya philosophy, what will happen? More doubts will get planted. It's not that there's a problem in their philosophy. There's a problem in our basic understanding of our philosophy. That will create a problem. So, bona fide Sampradaya, all respects to them. But I am not ready for it. This should be the understanding of ours. And where is the question of upper Sampradaya? There is no question of associating with upper Sampradaya. Bhajan Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam, Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Some nonsense. So we should be very, very careful and keep them away. Or I should put it as, we should be away from them. Therefore, in conclusion, the only thing that I would like to say is that faith is a great treasure in the life of a sadhaka. Specifically for renunciants, for everyone, but specifically for renunciants. Because they have renounced everything just to advance on the path of bhakti and attain Krishna in one life. Therefore, they have renounced their material life. So, specifically for such sadhakas, for all the sadhakas in total, faith is a great treasure. Don't allow anyone to steal away that treasure. Don't give a hammer in someone's hand and ask them to break this great treasure of faith that we have. Therefore, anything and everything that helps our faith to enhance, we should do it. And anything that destroys our faith, specifically in Srila Prabhupada, in the Vedic scriptures, we should be very, very careful and vigilant and keep that entity away from our existence. And when we keep enhancing our faith with our sincere, serious practice of devotional service, and when we come to the stage of unbreakable or unflinching faith in Shastra, then we keep going forward to Sadhu Sangha, and the next one, pure Bhajana Kriya. Then Anartha Nivritti will happen. If Anartha Nivritti is not happening, if it is somehow stagnant, then there is some problem in below 3. Maybe the Shraddha is not pure, or Sadhu Sangha is not pure, or Bhajana Kriya is not pure. Therefore, at least let's fix the first one. There is Shraddha. And then we can talk about the rest. We should destroy our doubts very nicely so that our faith keeps enhancing. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.